republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mr. DeCarlo?
Here.
Mr. Condit?
Here.
Mr. Molina,
Here.
Mr. Silverston?
Here.
Mr. Walter?
Here.
Mr. Hoffman is excused.
Okay, amendments to the agenda. We are not going to add that piece of legislation, Mr. Carpenter, because we are not opting out at this time. Okay, comments from the public, 30 minutes maximum time, 5 minutes per person. Please state your name and address. Please remember, residents have the opportunity to raise their hand and be recognized by the chair at any time during a public meeting. Any comments from the public?
I do have a question.
Name and address, please.
Johnny Reed, 4175 Morley Boulevard. And this goes back to what we just experienced. One of the things that I'd like to know when it comes to having these GCs in place is how they do, what's their track record. The idea of on time, on budget means a lot, especially in a smaller community. What do those things look like for this crew that's assembled here, that was here today, or some of the other people that you may have spoken with in the past? For me, that's a big part of the decision-making process. If they're historically over budget, but on time, is that something we want to deal with? Are they historically, under budget, but they expend too much time? Those are things we want to look at, I think. And we didn't get to that piece, and I don't know if you have that information, but for this team, on time, on budget, I think that's one of the qualifications we need to look at.
When we first met with the design build teams, we had presented a tentative opening date at that time, which was November of this year. And one was able to meet that date, the other three knew going in that they wouldn't be able to. And when we were interviewing those 4 companies, that was one of the specifics we needed to do. This was just a presentation for a different option other than a design build. And that's why they wanted to be able to present us, just to give us another alternative if we choose to go that route. But, again, that's something we would make sure, because we have a lot of steps to take prior to the building opening, with deadlines prior to opening, as far as selling memberships and setting up tournaments, getting the word out. Everything we need to do is based upon when we open, and it's not something we're going to go with and say, okay, when do you think you do? Well, maybe we'll have it in January, but it might be February or March. We do know we need to be specific about when we want this done. Well,
and I appreciate and understand that, but my question more goes towards historically, how is this team done? How have they managed the process?
And that's something that we did not ask, did we?
Not of this group,
No.
no.
But we did handle with all the others.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, one way to handle this, and you're absolutely correct, is we have to, we can set drop dead dates and penalties.
Right.
Yep.
And we've talked about that in the past.
Yeah.
And we really, a lot of them have obviously what we've done in the past and, things like that. And to Mario's point, told us, hey, here's what we've done, or here's what we're looking for the project. I mean, one of the groups was up front and said, we don't think we can have this done until April of 2015. And here's the budget. It was way over what we were thinking. So, we appreciate the honesty, but yeah, I guess the on time, on budget is something we're gonna have to get some more historical data on the groups.
When we open is important, but I'm very concerned about our first impression we make on the public, because it's going to spread. Everybody's already buzzing about this, and if we open and it's like, oh, the Reminderville Rec Center sucks, that's going to stick. I want to make sure when we open, it's going to be a place that people will seriously consider and say, maybe I'm going to leave Twinsburg and come here. that's why I keep hearing value engineering, that's great, you know, saving money. But I'm really concerned about the first impression we make on the public.
That doesn't mean cheap though.
I understand that.
It
But
could.
then right after that, then I was this new certification, this lead certification. I don't think Joe deciding if he's going to Twinsburg or Reminderville is gonna look up at that lead
Oh,
paper and
absolutely
say,
not.
I'm going
No.
here,
And
you
we
know?
talked a little too much about that. We want an energy efficient building.
Because that's the other thing I'm worried about, is that that's how we're funding this membership. And
The key for me is that if we have a problem, we want one person who's responsible. One thing, I don't want to get into filing a claim against 14 subcontractors. We want one name.
I still work at the site.
Okay. Anything else? All right, we'll go into legislation, ordinance 6/2014. We'll wait for an ordinance repealing section 16.9 of the Twinsburg Township zoning resolution and declaring an emergency, second reading.
Move to suspend the rules and pass by emergency.
Second.
Roll call on suspension of rules.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the ordinance number.
6/2014.
Thank you.
Tom moved and seconded.
Thank you. Mr. DeCarlo?
Yes.
Mr. Condit?
yes,
Mr. Molina,
Yes.
Mr. Silverston?
Yes.
Mr. Walter?
Yes.
Move to pass by emergency.
Second.
Roll call on emergency passage.
Mr. Condit?
yes,
Mr. Molina,
Yes.
Mr. Silverston?
Yes.
Mr. Walter?
Yes.
Mr. DeCarlo?
Yes.
Ordinance 07/2014, an emergency ordinance to make appropriation adjustments for the 2014 village budget, second reading.
Move to suspend the rules and pass by emergency.
Second.
Roll call on suspension of rules.
Mr. Molina,
Yes.
Mr. Silverston?
Yes.
Mr. Walter?
Yes.
Mr. DeCarlo?
Yes.
Mr. Condit?
yes,
Move to pass by emergency.
Second.
Roll call on emergency passage.
Mr. Silverston?
Yes.
Mr. Walter?
Yes.
Mr. DeCarlo?
Yes.
Mr. Condit?
yes,
Mr. Molina.
Yes. Ordinance 08/2014, an ordinance to transfer $32,672 from the general fund to the police vehicle acquisition fund number 2907 and declaring an emergency, second reading.
Move to suspend the rules to pass by emergency.
Second?
Roll call on suspension of rules.
Mr. Walter?
Yes.
Mr. DeCarlo?
Yes.
Mr. Condit?
yes,
Mr. Molina,
Yes.
Mr. Silverston?
Yes.
Move to pass by emergency.
Second?
Roll call on emergency passage.
Mr. DeCarlo?
Yes.
Mr. Condit?
yes,
Mr. Molina,
Yes.
Mr. Silverston?
Yes.
Mr. Walter?
Yes.
Ordinance 09/2014, an ordinance to transfer $30,000 from the general fund, $1,000 to the fire vehicle acquisition fund 2908 and declaring an emergency.
Just to say, this should be Mr. Convic's, because he's the one who ramrodded this whole thing.
I don't know, I guess I lost my enthusiasm when things, I found out things didn't carry over, but,
It does. What, if the money is transferred and they don't spend it, it's carried over. They're spending it. That's
okay.
what the problem is.
It's amazing how that happens.
Suspend.
Move to suspend the rules to pass by emergency.
Second?
Roll call on suspension of rules.
Mr. Condit?
Yes,
Mr. Molina,
Yes.
Mr. Silverston?
Yes.
Mr. Walter?
Yes.
Mr. DeCarlo?
Yes.
Mark.
Move to pass.
move to pass by emergency.
Second.
Roll call on emergency passage.
Mr. Molina,
Yes.
Mr. Silverston?
Yes.
Mr. Walter?
Yes.
Mr. DeCarlo?
Yes.
Mr. Condit?
Yes,
Resolution 29/2014, a resolution to hire Alexander McKinley as a part-time police officer with the village of Reminderville, second reading.
Move to suspend the rules to pass
Do
by
we-
emergency.
I don't-
Do we need to?
I don't think
I don't think Jeff said we needed to.
No.
Okay.
Resolution 30/2014, a resolution to accept the recommended bids. Anybody say anything to you? I'm sorry.
That's okay. Which one is this?
About,
Part-time officer.
about the officer? Okay. Resolution 30, 2014, a resolution to accept the recommendations of the Planning and Zoning Commission to approve the site plan for a proposed senior housing development on Kendall Lane, second reading.
Move to suspend the rules to pass by emergency.
Second.
Roll call on suspension of rules.
And that was resolution 30?
Correct.
Where is he? Did he leave?
John left, I'm here though. That's all that matters. I pay him. The money's here, so.
Mr. Silverston?
Yes.
Mr. Walter?
Yes.
Mr. DeCarlo?
Yes.
Mr. Condit?
Yes.
Mr. Molina.
Yes.
Move to pass by emergency.
Second.
Roll call on emergency passage.
Mr. Walter?
Yes.
Mr. DeCarlo?
Yes.
Mr. Condit?
Yes.
Mr. Molina.
Yes.
Mr. Silverston?
Yes.
Old business?
The rec center.
We get it this.
We can discuss now.
Really, you can only speak about things that are on the agenda at a special council meeting,
Oh, okay.
so if it has
Thought this
something
was
to do
gonna
with
be
that.
used
Yeah,
to,
that's
to
what we
open
did.
deliberation, but.
It technically is.
I all showed up.
Okay. New business?
Thanks, Paul.
We want,
Glad
yeah.
you showed up.
Well, that's something if you wanna talk about, there's some time outside the meeting.
You couldn't do that under new business?
You wanna talk about something that's on the agenda, go ahead, that's the nature of a special council.
Yeah, but I'm under old business now. Or
I understand what it is.
He said,
I'm not gonna get in a fight with that. Or-
I lost.
I mean, if you blurt it out, I can't come over there and tackle you and stop it.
You could.
I could.
But he's been doing that Sean T stuff, so.
I don't wanna see him throw another football to the other team.
Oh.
Oh, wait a minute, you're not Brandon Whedon.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Man, that's
Roll
what-
call on adjournment.
That's real deep.
Mr. DeCarlo?
Yes.
Mr. Condit?
Yes.
Mr. Molina.
Yes.
Mr. Silverston?
Yes.
Mr. Walter?
Yes.
You realize he's gonna be an all-pro because he's not.
He is not gonna be an all-pro.
He will never be an all-pro.
Trust me on that.
As
When
long
you
as- As
have,
long as we're alive.
I mean, if Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and about 6 other quarterbacks